If you've been on the internet at all this year, I'm sure you've seen crazy bold claims about how easy it is to make money online now. But in this video, I want to actually investigate one of those claims, and we're going to break down how hard it actually is to sell $100,000 on Amazon. A lot of the gurus like to talk about. Selling on Amazon is something I'm actually super passionate about. I started selling on Amazon about 6 years ago. I had 1,500 bucks to my name. I was a broke college kid. And fast forward to today, I'm doing over $250,000 every single month selling name brand products on Amazon. But even though I've seen life-changing results with Amazon, I don't like how a lot of people portray it. They make it look too easy. So in this video, I want to break down what types of products you can actually sell on Amazon. I'm going to break down the essential tools that you need so you don't go out there and break the bank. And I'm going to break down the reality on how much money you actually need to hit that $100,000 milestone. Because at the end of the day, that $100,000 a month milestone was always something that always seemed so big and shiny. It is off in the distance. I didn't know if it was even possible, but I knew that I didn't want to waste my time starting a side hustle that I couldn't scale and turn into a legit business that started really raking in some profits. So we're going to break down the reality of hitting that milestone here today. And at the end of the video, you can decide if selling on Amazon is the right path for you or not. So no more beating around the bush. Let's go ahead and jump straight into it. And I want to show you this product because it's a pretty good example of the types of products that I like to sell personally in my Amazon business. See, I just sell name brand products like, vitamins, shoes, toys, whatever I can get my hands on. As long as I can find it cheaply, there's a good amount of profit left on these items, right? And when a lot of people start an Amazon business or any business in general, they make it a little bit more complicated than it needs to be. With Amazon, a lot of people like to go out and create their own products, but the reality is you just don't need to. So here's just a super quick example. It's not anything that's going to make you super rich. I don't like to use super amazing products as examples because people are feeding the family on those, right? But this is just one example of something that we can sell 43 times a month. Right now, the price on Amazon is $49. And then we can find this exact same product over on Walgreens.com. It's 16 bucks. It's buy one, get one free. And then I also did a little bit of digging on this extension here called the Capital One Shopping. It just shows me a bunch of like coupon codes and stuff. And I found this coupon code right here where I can get 20% off on top of that buy one, get one sale, right? So if I plug all this in, this is the first tool that I use in my Amazon business pretty much daily. See, we're getting these for 32 bucks for 4 because it's buy one, get one free. And then we're also getting that 20% off. So times 0.80, you can see we're paying $25.60, which leaves us with about $10 in profit. And like I said, it sells a little over 40 times a month. So you're not going to get rich making a couple $100 a month off this one product. But where it really starts to get fun is when you add up as many of these products as possible. And for me, I think it makes a lot of sense to look at certain products right here. If we make a couple $100 off this every month, that's the electric bill, that's the water bill, all that kind of stuff covered, right? We find a couple more products, there's the rent, right? And so it's all about stacking up profitable items. And instead of just showing you one random example here, I also want to show you how I can actually find more profitable items. To do that, we're going to go ahead and use SellerAmp here. And I want to show you a major trick that helped me hit my $100,000 milestone way faster than I ever expected to be able to, right? So on SellerAmp here, I can see a bunch of data about the product. I can see how consistent the price has been. $49, for example. That's something you usually want to check. Obviously, we want to make sure we make profit in the long run. So right here, we can validate, oh, it's been selling for 49 bucks for a while. But what's really exciting here is we can use SellerAmp here to find more profitable products based on the fact that we already know where we can get this specific product profitably. So what I want to go ahead and break down here is let's look at this random storefront, for example, right? So this is another third-party seller on Amazon, just like you and I. They're buying stuff, looks like here, probably from Bath and Body Works. And it looks like they're also selling some more of these vitamin brands where we already know how to get this pretty cheaply, right? So I want to specifically just zero in on this brand that we already know we can find profitably on Walgreens today. And as I scroll through some of these products here, I'm going to ask myself the question of, do I think I can buy this item for the max cost option on this listing? So for example, if I think I can buy this supplement for $3, then I'm going to be making profit, right? In this example, I probably can't end up buying that for $3. So I'll probably just go ahead and keep scrolling down here. The next thing we'll check out, let's go ahead and open this one up though. I don't know too much about this. Maybe we can get this 2-pack of fish oil supplements here. We need to buy them for $6.50 or so. And the funny thing about Amazon is you'll end up selling anything under the sun. I've sold literally like adult diapers and all kinds of stuff. It doesn't really matter as long as the data shows that it's profitable. And so let's dive in here and we're looking for the 2 bottles of 120 of them. So we might have it right here at Walgreens. Let's check it out. I think this might be slightly different because this says it's like odorless or something. I don't know if customers would be too upset, but also another big issue is it's not quite going to be profitable, right? So we're getting these for 20 bucks for 2 of them. We also get that 20% off, but that's only going to get us to around $16. We would need to buy these for $13 to actually make some money. So let's just go ahead and keep checking out what else they have. So the cinnamon supplement, that was the example I showed you guys. And let's check this one out as well. So maybe we can get a 2-pack of this supplement right here for about 15 bucks. So let's check it out. So this one right here, maybe we might actually be in the money here because we can see those are 22 bucks. We know about that coupon code as well. So let's go ahead and check this out here and we'll see if there's any margin left on this guy after it's all said and done. So we're going to go ahead and pop open SellerAmp here. Let's go ahead and check and say, all right, so we're buying these for 22, getting 20% off. Okay, so we do make $2 profit. It's a little bit low on the ROI here. And this is where I want to go ahead and introduce you to a different software that we can use as well. So SellerAmp does the profit calculation, helps me source my products. There's lots more fun stuff I can do. I don't want to get too high level with it today, but the other tool that I like to use a lot is called Keepa, because we can see very specific data over time. Basically, how fast was it selling? You can do things like looking at the offers tab down here, where we can literally see like how many units people had in stock, what their price was. So we can literally go in here and prove that, hey, people actually pay, in this case, 29 bucks when they were making some sales there. But for this example, I just want to zoom in and we can actually see that this item has sold pretty recently for 30 bucks. So that's a little bit better, right? So $3.60 profit. The ROI is a little bit lower than I typically like to look for on some of these products, but you can see how the process works, right? It all just starts with finding one good example. You can literally start from this example I showed you guys. Doesn't even have to be anything that's profitable. As long as you find somewhere that you can stack a discount code with a coupon and all this kind of stuff. Honestly, I never expected to be a professional extreme couponer, but here we are, and I wouldn't really have it any other way. I'm definitely allergic to paying full price for things now too, but that's the basics of the process, right? And so just for the sake of finding a little bit better example here, I did a little bit of mining off camera and I checked out the other FBA seller on this listing just so you can see how this works, right? I was looking through some of their products and eventually ended up checking out this one right here. It's 8 or 9 products down. Typically, I like to look at the first like 10 to 15, and if a lot of their max costs are just super low, they're just not realistic, I'll move on to another storefront and see if that next seller is a little bit better at product sourcing. And what I found here was this example right here. We can get 2 of these for 26 bucks with that sale. Plus we got that nice little coupon going on. And then over on Amazon, I noticed that this price, see how that last one, it wasn't quite jumping up super often. It was a little bit risky for me. You can see on this product all the time it's selling for around 40 bucks. And after our coupons, we can get these for about 21, which leaves us with about 6 bucks in profit selling those at that high price. Let these other people sell it at 36 bucks. I would just list it at that high price. You can see it's almost 50-50 with where Amazon makes the sale. So that's another big lesson that I learned about selling on Amazon is don't always feel like you have to make the sales at the lowest price. Let other people make those sales. You can list it higher. You'd be surprised. Sometimes people have a product listed for 40 bucks. I'll list it for 50 and then it'll sell, especially with products like this, where you can see this sells literally tens of thousands of times. There's going to be a lot of demand for this type of product, right? So I can just go in there and take those sales whenever the profit's really good and then not care so much whenever the profit goes away a little bit. That's the product sourcing process. I have tons of videos on the channel sourcing more products. If this is the step that's holding you back right now, don't worry, I got you covered on the channel. But this brings me to the third resource that I use all the time in my Amazon business. After we actually find products using Keepa and SellerAmp, those together about 40 bucks a month, by the way. Then I track everything, I ship everything, I make my sales through a software called Boxem. See here, these are my real sales. I'm not making all this stuff up. Like we literally did 314 grand last month. This week we've done about 30. And so this is a great tool that helps me track what I'm actually making on Amazon. And specifically, whenever I'm finding these products profitably, I'll just go in here and I'll just walk you very quickly through this. What I'll do is I'll create a shipment through Boxem. And what I really like about selling on Amazon, like I was talking about when it comes to starting a business that's actually scalable, we're not having to work all the time. I like using Amazon FBA because what we can do is I can say, hey, I've got this product right here. We already found it profitably. I'm just going to grab basically the ASIN here, which is like Amazon's barcode basically. And once I have that number, I'm just going to go ahead and create the shipment here. I can paste that ASIN into my Boxem account. And this basically allows me to set what price I want to sell it for, allow me to store what I've actually paid for my item. So in this case, I think we're paying, what was it, 2060, I think would be our cost. Yeah, it was 2080. So we'll take 2080 right there. In this example, let's just say we bought 100 of them. We want them in cases of 25. And then we can just store, hey, we bought these from Walgreens, right? So it's useful to have this kind of thing because it makes it a lot faster for me to actually go ahead and Amazon. I'm going to go ahead and add this to the batch right here. You can see you just keep adding as many products as you need to the software here. And basically, as we go ahead and add all this to a shipment, what Amazon requires us to do is take one of these little FNSKU barcodes. We can print these through Boxem using the print FNSKU button. And when you're watching this, it should be automatically printing as well. You'll take this little barcode that Amazon gives you, slap it on the product, throw it in a box, fill those boxes up to about 50 pounds each, ship them off to Amazon, and then they'll take care of the rest. They'll do all the sales, the shipments, all that kind of stuff. So we get to go back to spending more money profitably. And then since you went ahead and stored basically what you're paying for all the items, it will actually remember that over here and say, oh, you paid 20 bucks for this. The customer paid 40. Here's your profit. So you can actually just get a nice little view as to what your Amazon business is actually making, right? Another good resource that you might want to take advantage of after you have those products shipped in, you've sourced them using Keepa and SellerAmp there. There's tools called repricers. So this is the one I use. It's fairly cheap. You can just start with the $25 a month plan here. And basically what this does is I can go into my my repricer and say, hey, I only want this product to sell, at this example, I only want this product to sell for $40. So I would tell Be Cool, hey, my minimum price is $40, my maximum price is $50. And then whenever the price matches something in that range, it'll make sure I'm actually competitive and I'll be automatically making sales instead of having to go in there, check, oh, did somebody lower the price by a quarter? I better follow them down so I can keep making sales. We don't want to have to be wasting a bunch of time on that type of stuff. But between those four, that's pretty much all the software that you'll actually need to hit that $100,000 a month milestone. It's pretty nice. There's not a ton of overhead when it comes to Amazon. A lot of the costs that you'll run into are variable. Obviously, the more product you buy, the more expensive your business is, that kind of stuff, right? Which actually takes me to the next bullet point that I wanted to talk about with you guys. And that's actually figuring out how much money do we need to hit that $100,000 a month milestone, right? I want to get a really realistic breakdown with you guys, what a typical Amazon business would pretty much look like. So let's just go ahead and run through this list real quick, right? So let's say so far your business has sold 20,000 bucks. I'm assuming if you're watching this, you're probably just trying to make those first couple sales. If not, congrats, keep it up. And then to sell that 20,000 bucks, you probably would have spent about $10,000 on inventory. That's pretty typical for most Amazon businesses, is that about half of your revenue will be your cost of goods sold, your COGS. And then using that simple equation there, we can figure out how much money we need to be spending to hit that desired revenue goal. So let's say you want to do $100,000 a month in revenue. This basically would tell me that I need to spend $50,000 a month, and even more broken down, we need to spend about $1,600 a day. So I know that probably sounds super overwhelming if you haven't sold anything on Amazon yet. It definitely would have overwhelmed me if I heard that number when I started selling about 6 years ago. But you can absolutely get there just by compounding the money that you already have for your business. But that's the raw data. That's what it really takes. And if you're hearing that $1,600, $1,700 a day number and you're like, can I really buy that much at websites, all that kind of stuff? Yeah, you absolutely can. Literally yesterday alone, I spent about $5,000 on websites. And on average, we spend about $25,000 every single week just buying from name brand websites, Walgreens, Target, Kohl's, any big retailer that offers coupons, sales, anything that just makes products cheap. As long as you're finding those websites and finding those deals, you can stack it up. And as far as how difficult that actually is, I want to break down some realistic timelines for what I see successful sellers tend to hit, right? Because obviously you're not going to have a $100,000 month in your first month. I think the best month I've ever heard of anyone having right away was a $40,000 month, which is amazing. I actually got to interview him on the channel. So I'd really recommend you check that out. There's tons of other success stories about Amazon on the channel too, if you want to see other people besides me talking about their success with Amazon. But for me personally, there wasn't really that much good info out there back in the day. There weren't really other Amazon sellers that I knew how to talk to. So it took me a few months to have my first $1,000 month selling products online. I don't think there's really any excuse for it to take that long these days, but just know if it takes you a little bit to learn, it takes a while for things to click, that's totally fine. Anything that works, especially with making money, it's going to be hard. It's going to take some time to learn. So have some patience with yourself. And at the end of the day, if you just absolutely hate running whatever business you've decided, try something else, right? You got to be able to pick something that you enjoy doing, you enjoy sticking with it. I like diving into the websites and pulling a fast one over some of these big companies, stacking a bunch of discounts where they probably didn't want those discounts stacked. That's just fun to me, right? I've also been able to turn that into a legit business by hiring people to look for products for me. I hire what are called prep centers to actually receive and ship out all that inventory to Amazon for me using Boxem. And so like I was talking about at the beginning of the video, selling on Amazon is super scalable. You just have to start with the fundamentals, start with that product sourcing, the basics that we started this video with, and you'll be on to a great start. I think very realistically, if you just go out and spend $500, $1,000 testing it out, you can have a $1,000 month in your first month starting out. And typically Amazon sellers reach profitability within 1 to 3 months just because overhead's not super high. And the main expense that you'll typically end up running into is buying bad inventory, just not knowing what to look for as a beginner. That's totally fine. You're going to make some mistakes. So just remember to buy small when you first get started out. But if you're ready to get serious about selling on Amazon, make sure you check out free trials of Boxem and SellerAmp. I'll leave those down below. Go ahead and grab the tools that'll power your business that hopefully you can eventually scale to $100,000 a month and beyond. Hit that subscribe button, the like button, all that kind of stuff if you want to help me out for sharing some value with you here today. Also, let me know if you have any questions. Drop those down below. Would love to answer those for you. But if you want to see some of those classic beginner mistakes I was talking about, some of these literally cost me over $10,000 when I was first starting my Amazon business. Go ahead and click this video right here if you want to learn how to be a better Amazon seller.